Edge of Fate Godroll guide already? The DLC isn't even out yet. But turns out that doesn't actually matter. Due to community efforts, all known perks and weapons have been compiled to the point that over 20 weapons coming in the Edge of Fate have their full perk pools already known. This includes Kepler destination weapons, rewards from Vanguard activities, as well as some from Crucible and Trials, and within them are some absolute bangers. In this video I will go over all weapons with a complete or one-off complete known perk pool, and give suggestions of what to look out for as a PvE Godroll. This will include all new perks which I have covered in another video here. I highly recommend watching that one first, so you have full knowledge on what they all do. I'll also give some commentary on these weapons, with what will be worth focus farming, or maybe if they might fall a bit short on making a meta impact. So then, first up last Thursday, a Strand Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle with a pretty good name but probably not the most meta impact. For this one, it does have Demolitionist or Strategist in column 3, which are always nice to have depending on if you want a grenade or class kind of build, and in the main column 4 option it's either Frenzy or Binary Orbit. Can definitely see this being a weapon you get pretty early into the expansion but don't end up using later on. I'd give this one overall a 2 out of 5. Giver's Blessing is a kinetic rapid fire auto rifle, which seems to be a slightly better Chroma Rush. In column 3 you can have Impromptu Ammunition, which is just a way to improve ammo economy. Every kill you get with this weapon or anything afterwards will give you additional progress towards special or heavy ammo. You've also got Demolitionist on this one too, or rewind rounds for a bigger mag. In column 4 there's some very good damage perks. First one I'd take is Kinetic Tremors, otherwise One for All is also very good. Faustus Decline is a stasis lightweight sidearm, this one coming from the new seasonal activities. Unfortunately this one does seem pretty bad, maybe a PvP option. You can have Demolitionist or Rhyme Stealer in column 3, and you can have Head Stealer in column 4. I'd give this one a 1 out of 5. Mint Retrograde is the first one, which I'm going to say is an absolute must have. This could be up there with one of the better changing options. It's a whole new archetype. It's another rocket assisted one like the rocket assisted sidearms, but this time for pulse rifles. It's Strand, and this one seems to come from Vanguard activities. Here you want either rewind rounds or stats for all in column 3, and in column 4 One for All is a good damage perk, as is Bait and Switch, or you could have Slice for some Strand synergy. Definitely a 5 out of 5. Definitely a must have. I can see this being used in a lot of content. The Qua Nilus II is a Strand Adaptive Submachine Gun, again from Vanguard. For this one, I think it's best to go over sort of Strand synergy parts of it because it's the only thing I can really see going for it. You can have Slice in column 3, which is quite nice, or Proximity Power. Proximity Power being a new perk which improves your melee stat with final blows. Column 4 Surrounded is the highest damage bonus, or you could also have the new perk Binary Orbit, which activates upon kills with a element opposite weapon. So this being Strand, any light element weapon or ability, that also works, anything light based will give us a 25% damage boost. Mercury A is another new weapon archetype, this time being a high impact longbow, and this one's kinetic. Also seems to be from Vanguard activities. There's a few ways you can go with this too. In column 3 I think Successful Warm Up will be a pretty good option, especially because this new archetype can hit through multiple enemies. If you get a multi-kill with this, you'll get a longer time on Successful Warm-Up. Attrition Orbs is a big maybe. If every enemy you hit with a shot does contribute towards an Attrition Orb proc, this could actually be really good. Also, if it's like Wish Ender where it hits once going into enemies and hits again leaving them, this might also count as multiple hits towards Attrition Orbs. If you get this at any point, just try it out, see if it actually works or not. It could be terrible, it could be basically Velocity Baton 2, who knows. Bit of a weird column 4, with the only thing I'd take is Kinetic Tremors realistically. Again, this one is weird. On bows, if you enhance it, it only takes 2 hits, which even if it is like you need 2 shots to do this, it's still fine, it's pretty good. But if it counts on each enemy hit, you could be proccing this pretty much every shot, at least between cooldowns. Phoneutria Fera is a new archetype too. This one seems very promising. It's a solar spread shot hand cannon, which is basically just a shotgun with infinite ammo. So you kind of want to treat this as a shotgun, and the perks kind of build into that a little bit. In column 3, there's Threat Detector or Slide Shot, which are kind of traditional good shotgun perks, and there's also Proximity Power. This one gives you melee ability energy on final blows, but will depend if you want to use this thing for final blows, or if you want to use it as a 1-2 punch enabler. If you want to use it as an enabler, this is pointless. If you're just using it as a general weapon, this could be very good. And in column 4, there is that 1-2 punch. I'd definitely take this for any melee based build. If you're using this as just a regular weapon, there's either Incandescent or Frenzy. Definitely rating this one a 5 on my initial idea of it, but it's definitely a wait and see. Agape is a solar heavy burst hand cannon. This archetype has been really good. It's great for bursting down mages, which pretty much every other primary weapon type really struggles at, so it does have its use. And the perks on it are pretty decent. Column 3, Heal Clip is your standard solar option. Just be wary with this that you do want maybe a reload boost, because the base reload speed on these heavy burst hand cannons kinda suck. Or there's rewind rounds as another way to just reload less. Column 4 is Firefly, which would go well with Heal Clip because this gives you a reload boost. Otherwise there's the kind of solar options of Burning Ambition or Incandescent. Incandescent scorches on final blows, Burning Ambition scorches on repeated hits. Not sure what's better, probably depends on the difficulty of content you're doing. Precipial is a void precision shotgun, not really the archetype to go for in PvE activities, and I think it does look like the perk pool is mainly PvP. But for what we can get here, it does have 1-2 punch in column 3, which is definitely interesting, but other than that there's not really a whole lot. Column 4 does have some options though. There's Discord, which you could have for a kind of infinite ammo roll. There's Vorpal Weapon for just a nice damage boost, and you can also have destabilizing rounds if you're using Void Synergy. Sublimation is a Arc high impact frame scout rifle. Again, not really a particularly great kind of PvE archetype, but this one does have a combination of perks which I think everyone should have at least one roll with this. That being Shoot to Loot Explosive Payload. The explosive payload makes it much easier to collect ammo or orbs with the Shoot to Loot, as anything in the explosive radius will be collected. Definitely a utility pick because no one's really using a high impact frame scout as an add clear option anyway, it just isn't the most effective for it, but just having this combination is quite nice. But a really good archetype is on the Theodolite. This is a micro missile frame like Mountaintop, but this one's arc and has some very good perk options. In column 3 you can have either Reconstruction, which I think will be great here, you can have either Eddy Current if you're using it actively, or Blast Distributor. Blast Distributor will give you grenade stat just for hitting enemies. In column 4 this is the only weapon with Reaper's Tithe. No idea how good this will actually be yet, but you get a damage boost upon getting multi-kills with a single shot. Might be a bit too much to ask for a micro missile frame because its blast radius is quite small, but if a damage boost is big enough this is definitely worth it. If you don't want this though, there's some fantastic options. Bolt Shot on a weapon which you reload between kills is incredible. Frenzy is here as just your kind of all-round good perk, or you could even have Rolling Storm. Shoreline Dissident is a void rapid fire sniper rifle. We've had a fair few of these and this one doesn't seem to be too much better or offer anything new. You can have in column 3 triple tap for the ammo economy perk, or you could have explosive payload. Explosive payload isn't too fantastic on snipers because a lot of its damage comes from crits. In column 4 there's either precision instrument as your kind of typical damage perk, or high ground as a more situational damage perk, both of these being particularly average really. I'd probably give this one a miss. Ulterior Observation is a stasis aggressive frame LMG, and this one does have some pretty good perk options. Column 3, choose either Demolitionist, Headstone or Subsistence, with Demolitionist being a good grenade build perk, Headstone just, it's all around good, and Subsistence will pair very well with the column 4 option Killing Tally. That will be my main choice, but you could also use Binary Orbit or Dragonfly. Boomslang 4FR is a adaptive burst arc linear fusion. The perks are pretty decent but nothing too incredible. Column 3 can have either field prep or rapid hit, with column 4 having either precision instrument or jolting feedback. Jolting feedback is interesting here depending on how this kind of functions with the free burst hit. If it activates very quickly on this archetype, could be useful, but it does kind of seem like a bit of a add clear linear fusion kind of thing, which typically hasn't been that good. Aurora Dawn is a stasis waveframe sword. This one is missing a column 3 perk option, but what we do have here seems pretty good anyway. Sharp Harvest would be my default choice. This activates on repeated light attacks and grants you special ammo. Depending on the amount of special given, even if it's quite low, this seems really good to me. I don't know, it's like, swords have a good ammo economy, 3 light attacks is a pretty easy requirement, special ammo in any scenario is really good, especially if you're using something like Lord of Wolves. There's also Tireless Blade if you want to use this as your main weapon. Column 4, Cold Steel is just the go-to for any stasis sword. This being a wave frame, it should slow everything with a wave attack too, so that's probably better than usual. Or if you want a traditional thing, Whirlwind Blade is also here. Aureus Neutralizer is a new Trials weapon. This one also being the spread shot kind of shotgun style hand cannon. This one does have a few things which make it stand out from the solar version as well, which does mean you might have to play Trials at some point. Column 3 Vorpal weapon seems really nice if you're using this alongside some melee build, especially for boss damage, or this threat detector is your standard decent shotgun perk. Column 4 has 1-2 punch too, but this one also has trench barrel, and there's also cascade point if you want to use a weapon itself for DPS. Stars and Shadow is a reprised weapon which is going to come from a Crucible, a high impact frame solar pulse rifle. Not a very good PvE archetype at all, but some perks seem pretty decent. It's got heal clip in column 3 or rapid hit, and in column 4 has Burning Ambition, the new perk which will scorch enemies by just landing repeated hits. It's also missing a column 4 option, but I don't think it's going to be much better than Burning Ambition. This is one where the archetype may be kind of weak, but if you just want Scorch on demand, this weapon can give you that. Pure Recollection is a Void Heavy Burst Slug Shotgun. The only one of these we have so far was the Halloween option. This one again seems to be the kind of same thing where it's just kind of average. Column 3, the only thing I really want here is Threat Detector. Dual Loader might be okay. In column 4 there is a decent damage perk of Bait and Switch, or you could also have Destabilizing Rounds for Void Synergy. Return Memory is probably one of the standouts so far. You definitely want this thing. It looks like this also comes from Crucible. It's a solar rocket assisted sidearm, which as we all know are just the best weapon archetype for most activities in the game. And the perks are also incredible to really add to this. So, column 3 Impromptu Ammunition. This is a special ammo weapon which helps generate special and heavy ammo. This seems really good. There's also heal clip on this, and Blast Distributor. Column 4 there's quite a lot of solar synergy stuff, but the first thing I want to point out is Redirection. A rocket assisted sidearm doing double damage to major plus enemies for just hitting shots on minor enemies, which you're going to do both with this thing, seems really good. And again, solar synergy, you can have both Burning Ambition or Incandescent. Either of these is fine, and if you just want damage there's also one throw. This thing is completely stacked. Solemn Remembrance is the new comp weapon, a stasis precision frame hand cannon. This is not forgotten but stasis, it works in the same way as Luna's How does. And the perks are typically mostly PvP, but there's a few things you can have. It does have Impromptu Ammunition, so it can help with ammo economy, and it also has Headstone in column 3, which isn't seen too much and can be quite nice to have. In column 4 there's Firefly, which could be nice with Headstone, like double precision perks that could be useful. And there's also Rhyme Stealer for that classic stasis synergy. Auric Disabler is a strand precision frame auto and another Trials weapon. For this, in column 3 can have Slice or Dragonfly, which are both pretty good options, and in column 4 there's not really a whole lot other than Onslaught. Aisha's Embrace is a reprised Trials weapon, but the perk pool is a lot better than it was before, and this one being Void with Destabilizing Rounds is always going to be fine. So yeah, there's Destabilizing Rounds in column 4, but in column 3 you can stack that with Vorpal Weapon, which to me seems pretty good as a standard kind of plink machine, or you can either have Rapid Hit or Demoralize as other options to kind of build into just usability or Void Synergy. Forgiveness is another Trials weapon and another which has been reprised. But like Aisha's Embrace, this has some pretty interesting perks. Most importantly, Volt Shots in column 3, and that's the only thing I'd really recommend here other than maybe Demolitionist. Column 4 unfortunately isn't the greatest. This Surrounded, which can give a good damage increase. You can have Loose Change to make reloading with Volt Shot a lot quicker, but in this case you're basically just swapping columns 3 and 4 over from what will be typically. Otherwise, yeah, just standard damage perks, Adrenaline Junkie, Adagio, whatever you want here. Unwavering Duty is yet another Trials reprised weapon, and yet again is completely stacked. This one being a solar adaptive frame machine gun. Column 3 has a lot of good options including Incandescent, but maybe I'd take 4th Time's a Charm over it, because this on machine guns means you can essentially just use this as a primary. If you don't want 4th times a charm though, Incandescent is really cool to have in column 3, and there's also Subsistence. Column 4 has Burning Ambition, which might take too long to activate on machine guns, I'm not sure, but Burning Ambition and Incandescent just sound kind of funny. There's Killing Tally as your traditional machine gun decent damage perk, there's also Bait and Switch if you want that. So the final weapon with a almost complete perk pool is the Ribbontail. This one is missing options from column 3 and 4, but what we do have seems kind of limited right now. It's a strand adaptive frame trace rifle which we've had quite a lot of recently, and well, Subsistence is probably the best option in column 3, maybe Wellspring, I'm not sure if that's much use anymore, and in column 4 you just want Detonator Beam. Don't really reckon too much to this one, but maybe the 2 hidden perks are both absolute bangers, and this turns out to be great. So that is all we know so far. There's a bunch of other weapons which have been kind of teased but we don't know the perks on, like there's the crossbows and a bunch of other stuff, and obviously other raid weapons too, we've not even covered any of those yet. So there's a lot coming in this DLC, and a lot of decent weapons too. Thank you for watching.